Hello, everybody. This is Joshua Hatton with One Nation Under Whisky podcast. I am joined today, and as always, by both Jason Neal, Patrick Harris, Johnston Yellen, co-founder of Single Cask Nation, and Jessica Rabbit, Guillermo Lomas. Hello, you too.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Guess
Thanks
what?
for welcoming us in.
I'm not just welcoming you into the Padcost. I'm welcoming you to Season 10.
There you go.
Season 10.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, it's as vegetarians and vegans in this room, the Seasoned Hen is going to be much more problematic than simply Season 10.
How did we get to Season 10? I mean, this is I read something somewhere. There's a statistic. Most podcasts. Oh man, there's another.
No, we cannot deviate
Yeah, the
from Padcost.
podcast.
I already have to explain this.
Oh wow, there's a new one.
The
Season 10 podcast.
Podcast. Yeah. Does that
Regular
replace
listeners who are
Padcost?
with us.
Podcast.
Nah.
Oh yes. But I read a statistic that most podcasts only last about 3 episodes. Isn't that something?
Yeah, most statistics use numbers. Is another scientific study I read once.
I was going in for something a bit more hard hitting, like that's the attention span of your average white man who's like, I've done a podcast, move on, take up golf.
Yeah.
I would argue you can record your podcast, your Padcost, your podcast really as long as you want. It depends whether you like having listeners or not, right? And I would say we're kind of fortunate that here on the doorstep of Season 10, we still have a very loyal, growing listenership. And so that makes it a lot easier to chat into the ether of a week. So thanks, and the usual shout out to the audience. Thank you, as always, for being with us.
As always. And forever.
Well,
Welcome to Season 20 of One Nation Under Whisky podcast.
It's a threat. They will be here forever. There's no escaping them now. They are one of us.
this is the Hotel California of podcasts. You can check in, but you can never leave.
Yeah.
I had to explain that joke for anybody under 50.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, kids don't know
Jess
it.
nods.
Actually, I don't know that reference. I was happy to be on board as the designated young person.
I know, right?
Sick.
How does it feel? How does it feel to be our representative for the youth of today?
Delightful. For example, I am well up on with the youth phrases such as 6-7, which I was reminded at lunchtime about today. And the young people listen to TikTok. I've also had a discussion today about the youth using social media. I'm doing really well. I am on fire.
Now,
as
are
a young
people
person.
telling you that the youths do this, or are you telling people as a representative of the youths that the youths do this?
Oh, I was ribbing the person whose identity I shall protect until after this call to tell him about how if he found Instagram difficult, wait till he then had to progress onto the TikToks. And there was a look of panic in his eyes, and he said, no, this is enough. It's already too much.
To be clear to long-time listeners, I am not the person in
No,
question.
actually, surprisingly,
To
it
be
wasn't
clear.
you. And then we bemoaned AI for a bit, and then we went back to chiseling using a hammer and a sharp pick, how we convey our messages to each other, because all technology is awful. Padcost aside, of course.
Of course, they are the best of technology.
The very best. Oh my gosh. let's stop talking about the ticks and the tocks, because as a non-youth, I just don't get it. Don't want to get
clarifying. In case anyone was mistaken in the audience, Joshua, non-youth.
Yeah, I know they don't get it with all this brown hair, Jason. You know, they mistake me for a youth, but I am not a youth.
Tell you, it's like Moses parting the Red Sea on top of your head. But moving on.
moving on.
God, this got personal quickly. Is this how we're starting season 10? Is this because and again, if you ask me nicely, the Padcost listeners and viewers, I sent a picture to these two of an event that I was at with them nearly 10 years ago to the day. And I said, who are these young people? Obviously, because I'm not in the picture, because I was still at school. Not quite true. With the young people, which was lovely. It was nice. 10-year ago photograph, which is insane, because I remember that night quite vividly. And many things have happened between then and now.
Yeah, that was, March 2016 at Westland Distillery?
It was.
That was it. Steve Hawley in the photo, Matt Hoffman in the photo, you and me. Yeah.
I just wish that I had been slightly further around you guys and got like a face on. The picture is like a quick pic that I just snapped. I wish I had a much more straight on that I could really go about sharing this image and showing my 10 years of addiction to Westland whiskey.
I would argue the focus was Matt Hoffman and the rest of us were just stars in orbit around him.
I'll take that. I'll take that as somebody who's continually reminded how much the man who is the same age as me has achieved that I have not. Even though I'm obviously still the young person, but not set up an internationally renowned distillery yet. I mean, I've still got time.
Yeah, you got time. You're young yet. We've established, Jess, that you are young yet.
So without getting too serious, but definitely getting into dad mode, I would argue that you have done a considerable amount of work establishing Single Cask Nation as a global brand. And I think there's a lot there for you to hang your hat on instead of downplaying the comparison with Matt Hoffman.
Well, it's funny, looking at the pictures from that evening, I'd certainly that night never anticipated this with the three of us and my beautiful grand piano sat behind me. Never really imagined that's where we were going to end up.
That's the reward for hard work, Jess, is a grand piano in your very fancy living room.
That's a joke for the viewers of this audio-based media to understand and appreciate. So after I had looked at the picture of you and Steve and Matt looking very, very young in the lovely cantilever room, I only have maybe 6 pictures from that evening, which tells you Instagram was not a feature in my life because only 6 pictures from that evening is wild. So I looked at your lovely, beautiful young faces. There's a nice picture of Joshua writing tasting notes. And then there's a picture of a bag that Westland were selling that even 10 years later, I have buyer's remorse for not buying. And then I was thinking about, that must have been was that the night before the Jubilee?
It was,
so that was the night before my very first appearance on this podcast.
Hey!
Wow.
And all these years later, you're on the first version of the podcast.
10th.
So,
is that correct? I don't know if that's correct, because didn't we start the podcast in 2017? I think, because we're in the 10th season. We're entering the 10th season. So at the end of the 10th season, it would be 2027. So it was your second go around in Seattle that you were on the podcast.
Okay. Well, I do remember you coming and asking me questions at the stand, and it was very noisy. The reason I remember that, and I'm happy for no one else to remember, but you can go back and listen in the archives. That's the episode where I've developed myself an accent that I don't recognize as my own voice. And when you told me I was in the podcast, I had to get the time code off you to go back and listen to where you told me my voice was, because I didn't recognize it.
That's so funny.
Because you'd said, I'm not in it.
No, I was
after listening to the whole episode.
Yeah. I was like, that other woman with the American accent talks a lot of sense. It was me, listeners. It was me. I went full Joss Stone. I don't know what that accent is. My accent, as everybody knows, is always a hot mess. But that episode in particular is strange. It's the excitement of being at a whiskey festival. That's what it does to me. That's why my other interviews in foreign countries, I adopt, the natural tongue. That's what it is. My German interviews.
Yeah, we're back to this again. I remember this from our last recording. So without belaboring this point...
Yeah, and now I've completely derailed us in this important announcement at the very tippy top of season 10.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so season 10. What are we telling our listeners? What should our listeners expect? What's new? What are we bringing new into the bedroom, as they say?
I think an interesting development is our "You Are the Nation" / "I Am the Nation" messaging. People can see some of those clips on the YouTube if you're already here. But to continue putting the nation front and center. We've started a short series of nation interviews with a little dram in hand. And I think that's a really exciting place to shine a light on the nation. We have a large birthday happening. It's interesting to see these kind of round figures coming about where season 10 is a lovely number. You can hang your hat on that number. But we're also on May 11 celebrating 15 years since the establishment of Single Cask Nation. And that will be a big focus this year as well. So talking to the nation along with celebrating that milestone is really special. So there's a couple of highlights for me. I will give the floor. I will cede my time.
Yeah. Jess?
Well, I know, and here's a little behind the scenes for the listeners / viewers of our wonderful setup here. I know what's behind the scenes. But I'm so itchy to tell all of you some really big stuff that's coming. But
huge.
I've been told if I want to keep this grand piano, then I have to behave myself and not tell you all of the things all at once. But it's going to be a very exciting year.
Yeah, a nice grand piano you've got there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
Real nice. Imagine a horse's head just popping out there. I am looking forward to bringing some different voices we've not had on the Padcost. How about that? I am looking forward to the three of us. You're about to arrive here imminently into this lovely country. And we're going to spend a bit of time together. That's going to be a ton of fun. Absolutely. It's always fun to remind myself that you two are actually real people, not just faces on a screen or voices in my ears in the Padcost, which is, even 6 years in, sometimes still surprising to me.
That we're real people.
Yeah, I get so used to you. Yeah. I get so used to you two being so far away that when we hang out, there's definitely the first kind of 10 minutes of it. I'm like, oh yeah, they're real. That it's not, really, and I'm sure lots of other people kind of get this post-COVID where we did a lot of remote work as a society. But I've always worked with you two like this, so it's kind of a novelty to me for you to be here. It's nice.
Yep, I have to tell you a quick story that we will return to in season 10 actually. But when I was in LA and I was presenting for Women Who Whiskey, LA chapter. And I was pouring, I was talking, I was tasting, and I saw the lady sitting closest to me, and I said, "You're the Zoom lady." And she looked out and she just kind of beamed. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I paused what I was doing and we had a hug. And then in the break, I said to her, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I was so excited that you're the Zoom lady." And I apologize. I did not ask for permission for the hug. And I hope that's okay. I hope you're not offended. She said, no, the hug was fantastic. It was very much in place. And it was Sarita who is such a Nation supporter and comes
Fantastic.
in from LA and is such a good contributor on the Zooms, has terrific tasting notes. But that was, to your point, Jess, my first time ever being in the same room as her. And I got just carried away in the moment that it transferred from Zoom to real life. And she
Nice.
could not have been nicer. And so what a pleasure meeting her. So that story popped into my head with your
I love
comment about our Zoom distances and your Joshua Jason America distances. And we also hug when we see each other. So that made sense to me.
Yeah, in a consensual manner. No need to page HR on this occasion. That's nice. Starting season 10 in a regulated manner. Great.
Right, we're doing our best. We're doing our best. We're trying to learn as we go, but also listen. Joshua, speaking of listening, I'm listening to some things you've got up your sleeve for this Seasoned Hen.
Well, yeah, I think back to what you were saying, Jess, getting some new voices on and the travels that we're doing. You had just come from Germany. I had just come from Canada. Jason, like you had mentioned, you just came back from LA.
Yep.
And again, we're about to go to Scotland to go to the Independent Spirits Festival.
Huge deal.
Right? Absolutely huge. And I think back to last year where we highlighted the launch of that festival, and I went around and interviewed a number of the attendees and also, some of the presenters as well, like Jenny from Arden American. And the plan is to, do that again. And it reminded me of some of those earlier days when we had the Whiskey Jubilee as sort of a regular rotation within the podcast seasons, where we were able to have that recap. And it'll be nice to bring that sort of element back into the podcast and give people a chance to sort of, live that again. And so that I'm looking forward to that sort of, including those sorts of things back into the podcast. I think that will be cool. And just in general, getting out back into distilleries. One of the things that I remember, Jess, from when you and I were at Tormore visiting with Paleale, there were people who reached out to us and said, I felt like I was there. I felt like I was a fly on the wall. And that to me is something that I think is really special, something really nice to give to people who don't have a chance to get out to the distilleries. So, I think there's something to be said for bringing new elements to a podcast. But I also think there's some things that we do right, and we want to continue to do that, right?
Yeah, well, it's season 10. We'll still have a year in review. It'll still have a preview with Susanna Skyver-Barton. It'll still have a mailbag episode, but it'll also have some fun new elements as well. Got to keep it fresh. That's the important thing there. I love what you're both saying about new voices, new conversations. An aspect for me is we're also talking about being whiskey geeks and speaking to whiskey geeks. But we've also talked about gatekeeping, and we've also talked about being inclusive. And I would love to think there are people finding this episode, this season, this podcast, this podcast for the very first time, who want to come along on a season 10 journey with us. And we want to talk to those people and make them feel welcome in this industry that we love and we're passionate about and enthusiastic about. And so I think if there's a way in which we're talking about our selections in season 10, how are we presenting that to people who are starting their whiskey journey?
Yeah.
And how are we making it interesting for people who are as deep into their journey as we are, right? This is, and everybody in between, right? And so that's that's an element that I've definitely got my eye and ear on in season 10. And I hope the audience will keep us honest on that one as well. This has always been a two-way street. info@singlecasknation.com is a way to instantly appear in our inbox and have yourself heard. For those on YouTube, there's a comment section below. We keep an eye on those. We know your positions down in there. So definitely keep this a two-way street. If you've got questions, you talk about that journey over 10 seasons. When we launched, we had the myths at the end of each episode. And Jess, I said this to you before we hit record. I love the questions that you're asking at the end of your interviews. But we used to have a myths segment at the end.
Misconceptions.
We went so far that we had none left to talk about, or people kept circling back to the same one, and that little series kind of went away, and we moved into what are you most excited about going forward and things like that. We've got a new one up our sleeve this season, but it'll come at the start of the episodes rather than at the end. But it's definitely, if you do have questions about whiskey, again, back to LA, I had somebody in another one of my tastings say, isn't all whiskey smoky? And the room kind of gave a groan. It's like, no, we need to make room for those questions. We need to be answering those questions. And we need to be reminded that some people who are starting their journey are just thinking those questions, right? Someone else said, what does first fill mean in first fill bourbon barrel? That's a great question. If you don't know the answer to that, that's a great question. And I want us to still be a place where people can trust us to answer those questions and not roll our eyes or groan or avoid taking the time. So please, 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 no question is a dumb question if you don't know the answer to it. So please, that's my challenge for the audience in season 10, is please reach out, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, email, TikTok. We won't read it in TikTok, but you can reach out over TikTok if you want. A youth will communicate it to us.
I'm not entirely sure that's correct. How would you? No, don't go to the TikToks. We're not there. Don't look for us. You will not find us.
Yeah, I don't know
what
the
we
answer,
do like
Jess.
is letters. Send a lesson to Jason's house. That's just address it to Jason, his office, Virginia. He loves a letter more than. Oh yeah, we might. Do we have a PO box? You can send your laminated questions there.
Oh yeah.
What's the address for the PO box?
That was your prompt to share that.
It's PO Box 335, Guilford, Connecticut 06437, United States of America.
When did you last check it?
I checked it Monday of last week.
Oh,
because I went on a trip, so I haven't had a chance. And then we got piled. I got between 24 and 30 inches of snow. Just these past few days.
In the PO box.
Just in the PO box.
Just in the PO box.
Just in the PO box. So in my driveway. So I hadn't had a chance to check it this week, but I try to check it at least once to twice per week. There
you go. So if anybody's sending letters for the attention of Jason Johnston Yellen Esquire, please,
Esquire.
P.O. Box 335, Guilford, Connecticut 06437. I love that address. So good. So good.
Isn't that nice? Yeah. Best zip code in Connecticut.
There you go. All right, so there you go. I've given a heads up to the audience on their responsibilities in season 10 as well. Are there other aspects we want to cover here?
I didn't realise we're giving KPIs to our audience members. So there you go, listeners. Pop that down on your end of quarter evaluation sheet and we'll review that and assess whether or not you're worthy of the content of season 10.
I always say, I was in the classroom for so many years that you can take Jason out of the classroom, you can't take the classroom out of Jason. So I want the audience to feel comfortable in being heard.
Yeah. I think another element that listeners and viewers should look out for is we're going to be seeing and hearing more of Jess. And I love that element of it. You know, I think, Jess, you came on in 2019 to help us conquer the world. And we are doing just that, thanks to your good help. And you've been slowly joining, and then this past year, season 9, coming onto the Padcost more and more often. But I think, you know, it's really important. Like, let's the three of us get on here. But at the same time, you know, I think there may be episodes where maybe it's just you and someone, or maybe it's just me and someone, or Jason and someone. You know, I love it when it's the three of us. I love it. And sometimes sometimes it'd be nice for me to be a viewer myself or a listener myself. You know,
you're doing such
I
a lovely
realize
job of setting that up instead of being like, sometimes I just wish the pair of you would piss off.
Well, no,
I think
I'm trying.
it's a beautiful testament to how we put you out as our diplomat. Like, that's such a kind way of saying, let's do lots of things all together. I would be much more inclined to be like, and some episodes, it's just going to be me because I need you two to shh.
No, in fact, just the opposite. You know, here we are into our 10th season, and there have been episodes where there wasn't Jason. There have been episodes where there wasn't Jess. There hasn't been a single episode where you haven't had me. I could use at least one vacation.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, goodness. Our hostile takeover is about to be complete.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but I have staged one hostile takeover already. So we can go for a second.
Oh, and I wasn't on it at
we did
all?
it with the Watts.
The hostile takeover was control, yes. Control.
Yeah. Do you not remember? It was in my office in town, and we had, before I got the house with the grand piano, and we had the Watts. We had Mark and Kate on, and we took over.
That was it.
And asked you two questions. We put you in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Okay. So I did have one vacation across these nearing 10 years completely.
But you were still interviewed. Your voice was still in the episode.
God, it was such a good episode. You two don't remember it clearly. But we asked you two lots of questions.
Settle down, youth.
Okay, well, Jason's remembering on your behalf. That's
what season was that, Jess? Was that back in season 4? Was that a season 4?
This is a double down, isn't it?
Kate?
This is a double down. Well, I had The Office, so it's post 2019.
Oh, and we were sitting on the floor, weren't we?
Yeah, do you remember The Office is slidey and everybody kind of goes sideways?
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like when we recorded that, I think Kate might have been pregnant. I feel like she wasn't drinking.
That sounds about right.
And now I think Joe is probably old enough to drive. That's how many seasons we've done in between recordings.
Welcome to season 20 of One Nation Under Whisky.
Soon to be our actual youth that we can talk with. And he's a J, so he can join the J team and be youth sector.
Yes. She can leapfrog her brother. Yeah.
Yes, she can.
That sounds like a good season 10.
It does. Do we have anything concrete before we have to get out on our very tight schedule? Is there anything concrete? We've been very vague, which is always fun to be on the inside knowing all the things that I'm not allowed to tell the listeners yet. Is there anything concrete that maybe we could spoon feed in? We've mentioned that you're coming to Scotland to do the Independent Spirits Festival, and that the three of us will be around causing trouble. Is there anything else concrete that we want to tell the listeners? You can also say no.
I think this is a great suggestion, and we do know the first episode of the first full interview episode of season 10, and the man who wants to take the vacation is the man in charge of that interview.
Yay.
Yeah. So this was my time up in Canada, and I got to sit down with Travis Watt and Bearded Dave Dave Robert, a.k.a. Bearded Dave. I think that's on his birth certificate. Bearded Dave Robert. He came out full beard, that's how they pulled him out, by his beard.
You can't shave it when your name's Bearded Dave.
And we had a wonderful conversation post Whiskey Wonderland Festival in Ottawa.
Awesome.
And so we're kicking it off with our Canadian distributors there, and what a wonderful conversation to be having with two of the loveliest people you could ever meet. So that's going to be a good time, and we were drinking whiskey the whole time, but coherent. Jason, Jess.
Hashtag drink all the drinks responsibly.
I've had the pleasure of listening to some raw footage.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No.
The listeners have never heard it.
This was coherent, I promise you.
I trust the Canadians. Not a lot of people say that in America nowadays, but I still trust the Canadians.
Easy now.
Political.
Easy.
Let's sail on
political.
right past
Easy.
that. Let's not.
Hashtag political.
I was just thinking, if we had known that Joshua was going to go and interview our lovely PWS friends, I would have set him a challenge to get in as many Letterkenny and Shawsey references as possible. Because every time Jason says LA, for the fans of the show, I can't unhear the episode where they talk about LA, because that's all my brain hears when you say it. So if you don't know that reference, go to the YouTube / whatever your streaming service is and watch all of Letterkenny and all of Shawsey. There's only like 25 seasons of it, so that'll keep you busy until our episode drops. And then I can continue to greet people with, how are you now?
There you go.
How do you now?
Drink your single Cask Nation while you're binging your Letterkenny.
Pitter patter, get at her. Yep.
Having a poppers. So I feel like now when you go back to speak to PWS, that's your next challenge, to get it in until they realise what you're doing. Or they join in.
Man, oh man, well, to not miss the first interview of One Nation Under Whisky in Season 10, be sure to do a particular thing in this YouTube place. I'm stalling until the banner gets here.
Hey,
the banner for viewers.
You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You know what happens when you subscribe? You get alerted. You subscribe, and then you tickle the bell, you click the little bell, and you get alerted when a new episode is launched. And if we record like we are now, you get to see our beautiful faces. You get to see Jess's piano. And
not a euphemism.
But you don't get to see the pianist, just the piano.
First episode of Season 10. And then, as a reminder, if you are listening to us, please tell your friends, share that information, bring in new listeners, new whiskey enthusiasts. Let's share this enthusiasm together. That's the way forward. And then, absolutely, to reiterate the address, info@singlecasknation.com. Please do drop us a note, ask questions, whatever they happen to be, easy, silly, nonsense. If it's not known to you, we would happy to mention your name. There we go, beauty. And we have a banner for those all watching on the YouTubes as well. And that's it. Season 10 has begun.
There you go. Season 10. Welcome to it.
There we go.
Get at her, pitter patter.
Bring the pepper and the thyme.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.